This morning I have a handful of basil plants that I want to move into a separate tray here. I've got a couple good friends that have indicated that they love basil, and I've got these basil plants here. They're a bit overcrowded in our tray, so I want to move some of these over to another tray that I can give them. I'm going to cut down around here. Basil plants seem to have very small roots, and they tear very easily as you start to pull them away. So I just scoop them up in little sections where I'm dividing up the soil that's around them to give each of them their spot. I'm going to put 6 in this container, I believe. Here we are. There's a nice big one here. Dig the spoon down a little bit, try to go between them as much as possible. They seem to be coming out very nicely. I've already taken several out for my son, and I'm just going to tuck this down here. Okay, let's get another one out here. I take as many roots as I can with it and try to keep as much soil undisturbed around the plant. That way it is in its own environment when you replant it. It's in the soil with the roots gathering nutrients as it's familiar with. There we go. Now, after I've done that, those roots need some water to help get the soil in around them and to allow them to pull those nutrients out of the soil. These bottles I find are really good. I use these all the time for watering my plants. They're great for inside as well as out in the greenhouse. A couple pumps and you get a real nice spray. You can get in around your plants really well. This is a Dollarama thing, actually. $3, $4 maybe. Soak that down pretty good. There we go. Now, they're going to go in the window where they're going to be very happy. Okay, so this is what's left of my little basil farm. I had this tray completely full, and now there's only these. Now, because they've been disturbed a little bit, I'm going to give them a bit of extra water here today. These are going to go back in, and this will be our supply. I've already taken quite a few of these into one son, and now my other son would like some. And there's some going to my friends down the road as well. Alright, we have the basil that we just transplanted, moved over to the window here where they're in the sun, and we're going to see that they have lots of water during today. We'll have another peek at them in a little while. They're going to be droopy right now because they're still going through a little bit of root shock. I just want to take a moment and show you guys. These here are the zucchinis, which I have in my window in yogurt containers for my son. And he's not hardly ready with his greenhouse yet for me to get these transplanted. Actually, they're going outside his greenhouse on the deck of it. But they're already producing, starting to produce zucchinis. And we have some nice flowers coming out here on them. So we've got the male and the female on the way. They're doing super well, super well. So they'll go in larger pots, and he'll put those around the perimeter of his greenhouse, actually, on a little deck he's got there. Yesterday evening, I decided to take a couple of my pepper plants, 3 of them actually, and bring them back in the house and put them back into the yogurt containers because I felt they weren't getting enough nutrient around the roots. So they were extremely soft. It was almost like you were afraid to touch them. They were so soft and fragile. Now, they've perked right up overnight. They're after getting lots of nutrients and water in them, doing really well. I'm going to give these a few days because I want them to generate a little bit more root structure, and then they're going back out in the greenhouse. Now, when I first plant my seeds, I'll often put them directly into rock wool. These are for my hydroponic plants. Many of these here, I've been struggling with them. They just do not want to grow, but I have one little guy here, and this one is actually parsley. So it's going to get transplanted into a nice big 4-inch pot, or not pot, it's a net cup for hydroponics. And the reason why I'm using such a large one is I'm going to have another couple of these planted, and they're going to go in here as well later on. So we'll have a little bit of a forest coming up from this cup, and that's what you want. So we're going to take this guy who has a very nice root on it. We're going to get it put down into this 4-inch net cup. You can use a little piece of wire or something. This is actually a piece of extruded filament from my 3D printer, and it works great as a little hook. Goes up through. Let's see if I can do this while I got this tilted for you. And then I just rotate it, hook the root. And with that, I can pull the root right down through the bottom very gently, because it's very easy to break these off. I'm going to pull that down and set the plant just like that. So the root is coming out through the bottom, and there's the plant down there. Now, this has been in water, and we're going to move it to nutrient. So because of that, I can't leave them out in the open like this anymore. I have to try to cover them up as much as possible. It is hard to do with these smaller plants because they're so fragile. You can't really put the pellets on top of the rock wool without taking a chance on breaking the plant. Pick out a couple smaller ones here and put down behind here. Now these pellets have a little bit of white on them because they are used. We wash them down with a bit of soap and water. Alright, so here we are. It's a little bit of a nutrient bath here, and this has to be changed out every couple of days because it does grow algae. It's not totally protected, but I'm going to set this guy right down here so that it can draw that up through, and it will start to grow faster over the next couple of days. You can see that's the same thing I've got done over here. These are jalapeno peppers. That one there is not making it. And if you look closely, you're not going to be able to see very easily, I don't think. That one is totally green slime with algae. So what has happened, the algae has gotten so thick on that one, because of all the nutrients and being exposed to the light, the algae has grown so aggressively that it has basically stolen the nutrients from the plant. The plant just wasn't getting enough. So we've lost that one. Our tomato plants up here are all doing well and getting ready to go out in the greenhouse. Even got a couple little buds showing up on some of them. And of course our tiny Tims, where they're making a few tomatoes now. Now, let's clean out this container because I need, I need a bit more lettuce. So we're going to plant some lettuce seeds so they can start to germinate. I've got a few more spots in my lettuce tower, and with summer coming on, I want some more lettuce on the go. I'm going to start these 4 lettuce. I'm going to do 2 romaine and 2 heirloom romaine. I'm going to start them in these 4 small plugs of rock wool. First thing we have to do is get this here saturated with water. So I'm just going to run it under the tap. It'll turn dark as the water gets into it. Some people will soak these for quite a few minutes, or I've heard of people even doing it for an hour or 2. But you can feel it absorbing the water. It's getting heavier now as I'm holding on to it. And it's going to have lots of water to absorb up through after I get it placed under the lights there. And it'll have water in its tray there. So I go over all sides, get it nice and wet. There we go. So the water will now soak into the interior of that really well. I'm going to place it in our tray. Come a little bit closer. All right. From there, it's only a matter of dropping the seeds into the rock wool. Now, these seeds are not very big. I usually spread my seeds on a paper towel. Makes it a lot easier to see them and to get the unused ones back in the bag. All right, so I don't know if you can see that or not. There is one lettuce seed. So I'm just going to drop that one down here. It went right down in the hole. And one more for this guy here. It did not go in the hole. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to nudge it over a little bit, and down it goes. Those are romaine lettuce. The other seed I'll pop back in the package. I don't normally plant much more than I want because I get a very good success rate on my seeds when I'm germinating them. I may do if I'm doing 8 or 10 plants, I may do 2 or 3 extras, but that's usually about it. Now, these seeds here look the same, but these are the heirloom romaine lettuce. So down in the hole it goes, and this guy here. All right, so I have my 4 seeds down there. I'm just going to put a little drop of water in here now so they can start soaking that up before I put the tray in under the lights. So just a little bit of water like that. That's, I'm going to say I got about a millimeter or so of water. I check on these every day, and I know the rock wool is going to hold on to a lot of water. So even if the water does dry out to the extent where I don't have a pool of water, the rock wool itself is holding on to the water. Also, because I'm using LED lights, it's not like the old fluorescent lights. I'm not getting all that heat from it. I'm going to have a top on it. That's going to help to keep the water from getting out. Now, what I'm going to do next, my seeds are down in the holes. I want the light to get at the seeds, but I also want to keep them very moist. So I tend to just pull away a little bit like that and just sort of close off the top, just so there's less chance that the seed will dry out. It's going to have more moisture around it. That works for me. Everybody does this a bit differently. This is what works for me. There we go. One more. There we are. And that's the way I leave them, so the light can get down through. We'll get the top on that, and we'll put those under the lights. There we are. So they're in their little greenhouse there. They have lots of light. They have their water. Those seeds will now start to germinate over the next couple of days. I guess I should show where the lettuce is going to go afterward. This is some of the lettuce growing in my lettuce tower. This gets 1 minute of nutrient down over it, down over the roots. I think I've got it set for 15 minutes. A little bit of arugula there. But I am short on my romaine lettuce here, so I'm getting another bit put in. And those seeds, within a couple of weeks, they'll be ready to go into this system as well. This system has the lights on during the daytime, off at night. And like I said, the pump cuts in every 15 to 20 minutes for 1 minute. All right, as I approach the greenhouse, I noticed that it's already up above 28 degrees in there, or it was anyway, because our shutters are open. Oh, it is warm. 36 degrees. Yeah, the heat is just shutting down from last night there. I forgot to turn it off earlier. How are the peppers doing? Just like yesterday, I'm just going to check the leaves here. It'll give me a good idea. This guy here is still struggling a little bit. It's going to go in the house. Yeah, the rest of them here seem to be doing pretty good. this guy's struggling a bit. It's going to go in the house, and so is that guy. All right. Let's see what they have there for roots. Come on, Sally. Out you come. All right, so not a lot of root there, and it is a little bit dark, so that bothers me a little bit. But that's just where they haven't been right down getting washed with the nutrients. I'm going to take the clip off this guy. See the way he just wants to droop. I mean, he's very, very soft. That's just like silk. It's so soft, you know that there's no pressure to the water in them. So we're going to take this guy as well. He's coming up. And where was the other one that I mentioned? This guy down here. It's also having a hard time with it, so we're going to take that one and carry it in as well. We'll get those sitting right in the nutrients. All right, so the easy way for me to deal with these guys for now is to put them right down here in this tray of nutrients. Like I said, we do get a little bit more algae because of the exposure of the nutrients, but it's a small enough system that we can work with that. And now, let's see. I'm going to move this little guy. Put this guy back here. This guy's going to go up here with some of his cousins. So I'm going to dig down into the pellets up here a bit and fit it right down there. Got to make sure it goes right down into the tray so that it's going to get those nutrients up against the bottom of it. They're so fragile, they are breaking off and so on. So those, like these guys, will perk up big time over the coming hours. We'll have a look at those later on today to see how they're doing. But they're far from gone. They're strong little devils. Okay, so back in the greenhouse, we're going to see to it that our onions here get a little bit more water to keep them going. They don't really like the heat, but they seem to be doing all right in here, so we're going to keep the water to them. A little bit down in the tray here as well. Those are going to go out in the garden soon, now that we see that the other ones are doing pretty good. And we're going to get all these strawberries put outdoors today and give them a good watering. I'll pin this door open for the day, let the fresh air move through. Those strawberry plants will soon be moving up top there where they'll hang from the gazebo. Now, the other thing that has to be done here today, or now before I go, is we need some fans on. We have to have the air moving. So we're going to fire up a couple fans here, circulate the air through this place a bit. Here we go. Here we are. That should work nice. That's a little bit too rough there. I like to point them up so we'll get the air moving without it being directly on the plants. There we go. That's nice. That'll help to move the cooler air around here as well. Still showing 35. But that's it for this morning. You take care and we'll see you later.